hemfo de momoskalaboda. This is going to be in English, but I say weird shit. I don't know why I did that. It's MinkiSan off YouTube. We're looking at action today. So, action from Mirrorless. Before we begin, I will let you know that I got this software for free. Now, I have previously purchased Action, okay, but it was the old version 0.1, no, 1, I don't know what it was. It was really old. I lost my license key. I contacted the devs and said, can I have a copy of Action for a review? They said, yes, here's a Steam key for it. And then I said, can you give me another Steam key so I can give one away? And they said, yes. So I've got a copy of Action to give away. And if you don't win, they've also sent me a discount code for 10% off of Action. So if you don't win or you want it now, right now, then you can get a 10% discount by using the code that's going to be in the description box. So before we carry on, let's just go through the PC spec list that I'll be using. And I've used this same PC for the entire sort of series of tests. I've got an i7-4790K, that's my CPU. My GPU is an MSI GTX 980 Twin Frozr. I've got 16 gig of Corsair Vengeance RAM. The motherboard is an MSI Z97 Gaming 7 motherboard, and even though it's not relevant, just so it stops people asking, I'm using a Corsair H100i liquid cooler, and my PSU is a CX750M. You can see that, you can have a look and see whether it sort of compares to your system, and you would end up with the same results. Anyway, let's have a look at the software itself, and then we'll go through some other bits and pieces with the software that may or may not be a problem. Now, starting from word go, I have to tell you that this is my favourite looking piece of software that I'm going to be reviewing. I'd say it goes this, then PlayClaw, and then the others. That's literally how I rate the look of things. Now, I know this is a tool, and it doesn't really matter what the tool looks like, because this should be something that you use and doesn't really interfere with your day-to-day, but it's really nice to have things laid out for you in a really simple, glorious way. I reviewed some software called D3D Gear, and I gave a copy of that away as well, so check out that video, which absolutely blew my mind. It was incredible, a fabulous piece of software. However, it looks horrid. Why don't you just make it look like this? Just make it look like this. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's have a look at Action then. So, yeah, I like the look. I like the way it looks, and I like the layout. So this is kind of the main screen you'll come into. Up here, you've got your tabs panel, which is where you can sort of go through your various things that you want to tweak and change. So if I'm in this recording tab, I then have this sort of options panel where I can change all the different options for that. I've also got over here I think they call this is where the output folder is. I think this is called the sort of video panel or something like that, or video recordings panel, something like that. And then you've got the manager buttons over here. So let's go through each bit. So one thing that Action has, which is very nice compared to other softwares, it's got a built-in player. Let's make sure it's muted a second, it's going to be a bit loud. And you can see the video that you've recorded using their built-in player. It's really odd, you can only hear one audio stream though. So if you've recorded two separate audio tracks, you can only hear one of them, which I was, yeah, so I've got the car there. There is a separate audio track with me chatting over it, obviously. But as you can see from this, now it depends on the device you're looking at, but as I watch this now on my screen, it is flawless. It is exactly what I saw when I was playing. So that's really important for me. I want to bring you quality footage. I want to show you the game in the way that I saw it. And when I'm setting up the software, and once I've got this into Vegas, it just looks perfect. Now the render, I've noticed the renders are a little bit off. They do pixelate this footage a little bit, and I think it's because of an issue with a compatibility problem between Vegas and Action. I'll come on to that shortly, and I'll show you a little fix to get things working properly for you. The other thing that you can do from here is you can manage your clips. Now, if you were, for instance, there is a time shift function. So if you just want to share some really cool stuff with your mates, and you're not really bothered about editing the video and doing those sorts of things, you can share your clips directly to YouTube and Facebook from here. Which, whilst that's not for most people, that's not for most serious YouTubers, that's a really nice little feature to have. I think the Facebook only allows you a certain 100 meg in 2 minutes, so you're kind of restricted. But if you wanted to upload to YouTube, you've got your own sort of limitations that you have within YouTube. Now, YouTube has a lot more tools online nowadays to let you edit and do stuff to your videos once they're online. So if you don't have any editing software, it could be a way for you to sort of start uploading videos, etc. So that you can edit online, add ending cards. I don't know. I think you can add intro cards and all sorts of things now with YouTube. So it's just a nice little feature. You've got your standard things: delete a video, play that selected file, and then you can open the output folder where the things are going. So let's go over and have a look at the actual sort of the main bit of the panel. So you've got the different recording modes. This is a game recording mode where you've got a time shift feature, which I've already mentioned. So this records whatever duration you set here, so like sort of 5 or 10 minutes, and then but it's always recording. So what you can do with the time shift function is just continuously record, say, the last 10 minutes of your gameplay, and if something cool happens within that 10 minutes, you click a couple of keys. I think it's something like Shift F9 or Control. You can set the keys. It's really customizable software. You then save those last 10 minutes or so to a hard drive, which means that you're not taking up tons of space, but you are able to get highlight clips really easily. It's a really nice little feature, and it's on a lot of software now, but there's quite a few that don't have it, so it's a really cool feature to have. You can record your whole desktop. You can record a desktop region like that, and you can also pick a specific application. So if you have an issue with let's say, you know what it's like sometimes you can't hook into a game. You run a game, and whatever you do, your software doesn't hook into it. You can select running applications and pick that specifically to do it. So it's just another nice feature. I'm going to come on to the file formats briefly. Now, I have recorded with AVI and MP4 with very poor results, in my opinion. They just weren't the quality that I would expect. I certainly wouldn't have been able to upload them for my sort of self. So which means I personally, because I've got an NVIDIA card, I'm reduced to the NVIDIA encoders, which is fine because this is the one I'll be using anyway. Now, this does have the new H.265. So basically this format, the NVENC, without the HEVC, is the H.264 format. This one is the with the HEVC is H.265. Now, basically what it means is there's higher compression rates, so you get a smaller video file or a smaller file for the same length of video. But I personally find the quality to be reduced, so I'm sticking with H.264 until that's better. Even though it's newer, I'm going to stick with H.264. You can record up to 120 FPS, and you can record the original screen size. Now, I'm not sure if you can record in 4K. But I'm recording, it goes up to 1080p sort of pre-configured, but I record in 2K. This is a 1440p monitor, which is half 4K. So it works perfectly fine. I just click original, it does it. So I'm pretty sure that you can record up to 4K with Action. Don't, sort of hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that you can. You can also add your webcam overlays, and you can come on to that in a little while. From this screen, you can also live stream with Action. Really nice features in their live streaming, because you've got the option here to add. Where are we going? To add overlays. Here we go. So you can add overlays from a file that you create. You can also add your webcam. You can set up a really nice looking stream and then live stream directly to your sources. Now, they have got some set up. Quite a few actually, far more than most others, but they're still missing something like Restream, which is a really good service. It's not missing. You can add whatever you want through the custom tab, but it'd be nice if that was sort of pre-configured for you, so you didn't have to worry about anything, and that they'd had a sort of that means they would be talking with Restream about the bit rates and things. That would be nice. You can stream it up to 1080p at 60 FPS as well, so that's always cool. You've got options to auto reconnect, which I've not really had issues with when I've been streaming, but it's just nice to have it there. You can also save your streamed video. So the audio options, I stick with MP4. There's also Wave, but I mean, for no reason than the fact that I feel more comfortable with that format. I can record the mic or choose not to record. I can choose to record the mic in many different ways. I can click a button so it records from that point on until I click it to turn it off, or I can have to hold the button down, or just always record. Now, this is a really important feature for me. If I go into settings, I can record my mic separately on a separate track to my audio from the game. Sorry, this is game audio. This is my mic. I really, really want to be able to record my mic into a separate audio track. What's missing is that third audio stream. I've said this a lot of times in a lot of the videos. 2 is fine. 2 works. I can make 2 work. But 3 is ideal, because I can then have a virtual audio cable to record a separate audio stream from, say, TeamSpeak or a call, whatever you happen to be using to talk with your mates and do stuff. If you're doing some benchmarking, you can set your benchmarking up time-wise. You can do lots of things. I mean, ideally, this is a really good benchmarking tool. What you can't see is if I'm in this mode, if I say desktop, I don't know if this is showing up. There's a little box that pops up that tells you your current FPS, but it also gives you your average FPS for the time period that it's being used. It's a really nice feature because it means instead of having to guess what your average frame rates are, you've actually sort of got them exactly. Moving on, you've got standard file formats. I mean, I think others have GIF and stuff like that in there as well, but it doesn't really matter. Screenshots. And then you've come to the settings tab where you can configure everything. I mean, it really is customizable. I'm going to come back to Action RCU shortly because I think that's kind of a unique feature. Video quality, I've got the overhead, so I can go for Ultra, the highest bit rate, and I've set it up for this the input range of 0 to 255. You can have it limited, but I prefer to say that just have everything as open as you can. I've got the overhead, I might as well do it. I have the option to use. I've got a multi-core CPU, so I do that, and would like to record my mouse cursor. I'm not recording my clicks. Like damn. I wasn't set in the right mode. I didn't mean to click that. I got carried away. And then you can force your desktop to record at 30 FPS as well. So that's what this force 30 BPP desktop recording is. It keeps a consistent 30 frames per second, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's right. I've read all the sort of the manual. I've got the manual open over here actually, which I shall show you. So I've been reading the manual. I've read the whole manual, so I know what I'm telling you is correct. But I couldn't find anything related to this. But I would assume it's for 30 FPS. As I said before, this is for overlay graphics, so I can put an overlay, or I can just have a little graphic up in the corner. So if you wanted a watermark, you could do that. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's really, like I say, customizable. I can't show you my webcam because I'm naked. But anyway, so you can set up the webcam to do all those different things. A really lovely option for when you're streaming is you actually can use a chroma key as well. Pick the chroma color behind you, and you've got it sorted. So you've also got the option to use an alpha mask. So this means you can essentially add, like, say you wanted your webcam preview to be in a circle as opposed to a square. You can do that. So you can make sort of like a circle shape and stuff. But you can also cut your background and things as well, so it's really nice. Now, these two options, the game audio and the microphone audio, I really like the fact that I can just set myself to system default and forget about it. It will just record whatever I'm listening to, so wherever the sound's coming from, it's going to record that, because if I change my options and set them as default, it's going to record the default game audio. So if I'm playing through headset and I'm recording the speakers, it's not going to record anything. So that does happen. You do make mistakes, and it's just nice to have that option to not make a mess, cock up. And as I said, you can already record to separate audio tracks. If you do have an issue with your mic being off, you can set a delay up and things. Normally it's sort of quite set now. Set where the HUD's going to go. You can pop it wherever it's more convenient for you. I had the HUD at the bottom left recently because I was also recording at the top and trying to record everything that I was doing, so it made sense. Now, I've only got these options for the hardware recording, okay? Because I've got an NVIDIA graphics card. I'm 1,000,000% sure that if you've got an AMD card, you'll get the options for AMD here as well. So like I said, this is H.265, this is H.264. I'm sticking with H.264 because I don't think the quality of the video that you get from H.265 is as good for the same sort of, I don't care if it's a bigger file size basically. Set your output folders, you can do that elsewhere. And then you can set up all your hotkeys. So that's just an overview of how the software itself works and how it looks and the sort of features that it has within it. Let's look at using the software to make a video, and one of the issues that you're going to have with it. Now, if you use Sony Vegas to edit your videos, you're going to have a problem with Action. In that, let me show you. Let me go and grab import. Let me go and import my video from Action. Okay, so here we've got Battlefield and Project Cars. These are the videos that I'll be adding later on into this video. So if I open this, what you'll see is that I have only audio. And you should be able to hear that I've got only audio. There's no video track. So we need to close Sony Vegas. I'm going to show you how to quickly fix this. So what we need to do is go into our C drive, or wherever you've got Sony Vegas installed, into Program Files, into Sony, into Vegas Pro 13, and then we need to find a file called File.io plug-ins. It's just here. Okay, File.io plug-ins. Open that up. Then look for one called Compound Plug, which is just here. Now what we need to do is change this file here, compoundplug.dll. Don't delete it or anything silly with it. Just change the name of it to something like Compound Plug Old. All right. You need to be admin to do that. Once you've done that, you can go back and open Vegas again. And then what you'll find is that Vegas will be a little bit more unstable. Okay, it will crash a little bit more, as previously exposed by me. But you will be able to bring your footage into Sony Vegas with your video file. Okay, oh, ignore that. It just sets everything up with aces on. Apply. Okay, so you can then use the footage that you've recorded with Action. Now, the reason that you wouldn't want to keep this and do this all the time, and that it is a problem, is because if, for instance, we wanted to stack video together, I don't know what that compound plug does, but it absolutely will not render out. You know, if you've got a stack of videos down here, when you've say got videos side by side, it won't render it properly. So it's got something to do with the way that works. So for what I'm doing with Action at the moment, it's fine, but it means I can't really use Action full time. Now I have emailed the devs. They are in contact with Sony because it's a Sony issue apparently. It's actually a company called Magix now who owns Sony Vegas. So they're in contact with them. Hopefully Sony are going to release a patch. I'm worried because I'm using Sony Vegas 13. They're only going to release a patch for 14 or something. But if the worst case scenario, Mirrorless have said they're going to write a hotfix to solve the issue. So just that's a quick way of actually getting your Action videos into Vegas. I've got Adobe Premiere Elements or something, but it's not installed, so I haven't had the option to check whether there's an issue with other other editing softwares as well. Okay, so here's another little feature about Action that I have been desperately trying to get from my phone to show you. I can't do that, unfortunately. I think I might have a mild retardation or something. But essentially, the thing I spoke about earlier, the little Action RCU, is this external tool. Now, it's the only piece of software that I've found that has this sort of I wouldn't even call. I was going to say gimmick then, and it's just not a gimmick because it's actually quite handy. You can use this with your phone or an Android tablet. I've not found it on iOS yet. Maybe it's coming to iOS. I don't know. You know what it's like with Apple; they like to lock things down. But you can essentially control Action from a second screen. So if you've only got one monitor, it's a really cool little feature that can allow you to sort of start your recordings. I mean, it says it on screen. You don't need me to read it to you, but you can start and stop your recordings. You can see what your FPS is. You can get how long you've been recording for, how much space you've got. There's loads of features that are really, really useful, and I think it's a really handy addition to really round out the Action as a software package. So we've seen it all now. We know a lot about the software. We know how it works. What are the video quality files like? Now, I want you to pay careful attention to the bottom left of the screen where you can see the on-screen sort of FPS counter. Now, press F5 to reset the counter when I started my run. So the average FPS is the correct current FPS, and the little blue bit, so you've got the red number is the current FPS, and the blue is the average FPS. So it's an awesome benchmarking tool. And I'm looking at this footage now. I don't know why, but once I render this out, it does get a little bit pixelated. Not terrible, but it does get a little bit pixelated. But as I look at this footage while I'm actually recording, I'm recording over me watching the footage back now. It's perfect, it's flawless, it's absolutely fantastic. So once this hotfix is done for Vegas to allow it to natively run Action files, there shouldn't be any problem with the footage once you've rendered it out. I mean, the FPS is amazing, and it's smooth. It doesn't feel like it impacts your game whatsoever. So you don't feel any issues with the games that you're playing at all. look at the FPS now. This is the hardest part of the track. The bit where the track slows down the most. What are we down to? 72, 73, 71. So dropped off to about 71. That's phenomenal. An absolutely incredible frame rate. You know, it's up there with the best of the recording software, and with the way it looks and everything else as a whole package, it really is one of my very favourite recording softwares. Right, and that's the thing about it. I mean, if you look at it, obviously we've moved on to Battlefield now. I hope you can tell the difference between the two games. Even in Battlefield, which is a really intensive game, it's still getting. I mean, the average at the moment is 57, so it's almost doing 60 FPS, which is just brilliant. So if you just, you know, tweak the quality or change a few little things, you would absolutely be able to make this run just so well. YouTube can accept up to 60 FPS files. I've not had an issue getting these files to work well. I mean, it's saying an average of 58, but I mean, you look, we're on 63 right at that second in time. The video is perfect. Now, I know this is going to look slightly more pixelated than Project Cars does, because I've rendered this footage twice before and I cannot get it to come out any other way than slightly pixelated. That's just an issue for now. So don't let that put you off Action. Don't let that put you off entering the competition to win it either. It is a really good piece of software. I haven't tried this with Premiere. I haven't tried editing or rendering anything with Elements. I don't know how it works. So if you're not using Sony Vegas, or if you're using something else, then you're not going to have an issue with it whatsoever anyway. The footage is brilliant. The quality is just, it's so good. It's so good. And you don't notice any difference when you're playing. There's such a little thing. Let's have a look at the statistics a second, and we'll just add that into our tracking thing. We haven't got a name for it, have we? Ta-da! So I noticed one thing, that this wasn't really working for me anymore. It's got a bit messy and things didn't stand out. So I've changed it to... Ta-da! That's weird, isn't it? Ta-da! That's weird. Okay, I just thought we could do with getting rid of what it played out and what the frame rates were without recording, because at the end of the day, I think there might have been incorrect information compared on how everything's recording itself. Anyway, let's look at Action and how it stacks up against the other softwares. So, whilst we were recording with in Battlefield 1, we only got 58 FPS as an average. And while we were recording in Project Cars, we got an average of 84 FPS. So, it's a very good piece of software. Obviously, it's done much better in Project Cars as it's a much lighter game. And overall, I think Action has done a really good job. As a piece of software, it's got lots and lots of features and lots of functions that you want to use. It isn't as good, in my opinion, as something like D3D gear. It's on a similar plane as Bandicam, for example. I would say it's mildly better than Bandicam. But again, these are just my opinions. The footage you get from it is just first class. It's sort of, you know, like Playclaw. A lot of these softwares now are really, really good, but it's as good as Shadowplay for the quality of video that you get back from it. It's not a cheap piece of software, but it does a lot of stuff. It's currently $29.95 US for the home use, but if you have adverts on your videos and things like that, you need a commercial license, which is $49.95. So that's about £24 and about £40 in English money. So it's not cheap, but you're buying a piece of streaming software, you're buying a piece of game recording software, and something that is being worked on, constantly being developed. The devs are really open. I really like the fact that I emailed them and said, hey, listen, I've got a problem. I can't get this footage into Sony Vegas very easily. There's something going on. And they immediately started working on the problem. That was a really cool thing to do. You don't often get that sort of passion in someone's project. It's got to be sort of like a pet project. And I just imagine this was some huge company doing things. It may just be a few guys in a room. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a really, really good piece of software. And I really like it. And I just wish there wasn't the issue with Sony Vegas at the moment. If it didn't have that issue with Sony Vegas, this could literally be my daily driver. Having said that, like I say, I reviewed D3D gear, so check that video out, and that was another fantastic piece of software. So, thanks for watching this video. If you want to win a copy of Action, all you need to do is go to the description below, and there'll be a link to... I'm going to use Gleam which is a sort of competition-y thing, and you basically click a link there. You need to be a subscriber. Well, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get 5 points. If you answer the question, you'll get an extra entry. So you can get back 6 entries to the competition, and then I'll randomly pick a winner on the closing date of the competition, and you'll get a copy. If you can't wait until the end of the competition, then please just check out in the description. There'll be a link which will get you 10% off the software if you want to go and buy it today. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Check out my other videos. I've done lots of other capture softwares. Action is by no means the only one that's out there. It is one of the best. I really like it. There are other softwares that you should consider, and it all will depend on your system as well and what your system can handle. So anyway, you're good people. Got a lot of time for you. Love you. Bye.
Goodbye. Yeah.